Hello everyone, it's me Matt, this is the Explorer's Box, it's day 10, it's wonderful. I've got a really easy project to do with you today, following directly on from yesterday when we did a bit of baking. I'm going to show you how to make reusable beeswax wraps to store your food in, to keep it a bit more in character and a bit more period, I guess. And just something that's a bit cooler than some cling film wrapped food. So here we go. So first of all, you're going to need some fabric. For these, you're going to want 100% cotton. I've got some calico here, and you're going to want to cut it into the size you want your piece to be. So the guide I'm following suggests a 14 by 14 inch square. That's a good size to hold like a couple of sandwiches, so you can kind of gauge from that how big it's going to need to be. Mine's a little bit smaller because I've not got a hell of a lot of beeswax, which is the second thing you're going to need. Just regular beeswax. I don't think it's anything special, it's just called beeswax. I've got a block, we're going to have to cut it up in a minute. You can also buy pellets, I believe. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into small chunks, place those chunks on the fabric, whack this in the oven on a tin that you have some greaseproof paper on, so that's also what you're going to need, and some scissors to cut your fabric. And it's all going to melt onto the fabric, and then we're just going to smush it out and coat the entire bit of cotton. So, you're going to want to preheat your oven to the number of degrees I've put on the screen now. I haven't forgotten, I promise. And it's going to need to be in that oven for this length of time. So first things first, I'm going to cut my beeswax into small chunks. If you're getting pellets, then you don't have to do this step. So I've got a knife, I've got a little plate, and I'm just going to cut this into small slivers. Be careful with your hands, knives are sharp.
Not that I would ever question anything that you do ever, Matt.
But
Be better
what the am I doing?
Would it be better to use a cheese knife?
We could grate it.
Yeah, or yeah, I mean you could grate it, yeah, probably could.
In usual Armchair Armoury Orcs Planet fashion, I have just realised that cutting this with a knife is a real pain. So I'm going to try a grater instead and see if that's even better. I'm guessing this washes out, Andy, right?
What, the blood?
The blood, the wax.
Well, it's waxy, so you have to use hot water to wash it.
You can just melt it off though, can't you? I guess. Maybe? Maybe I'm about to ruin a grater. Who knows? So, you're going to have your wax shavings, and I'm just going to cut this last little bit. To wash out the wax from your grater or off your knife, you're just going to want to hand wash it in some really hot water, and it should melt the wax away. It may take a little while, but be persistent. Use your common sense, as Andy would say.
Luckily, you can eat beeswax and it's fine.
You can eat beeswax, that is true. It smells really nicely of honey in here at the minute, so that's also a bonus. I'm not entirely sure on the amount you're going to need, but in the guide it says a liberal amount of wax. So you're going to want to get your oven-proof tray with some greaseproof paper on it. You want to put your fabric onto the greaseproof paper, and then you just want to sprinkle your wax over everything. So I think I've actually got a pretty good amount. You need to make sure you put a bit on each corner so that it melts over the whole thing. And of course I've now also changed the tray for a different one that's much better. So, in the oven, 100 degrees C for 4 to 8 minutes. And we'll come take it out in a minute. Oh, look at that! So, if like me, you've probably put a little bit too much wax on your paper, it's going to melt, or in fact, if the grater was actually the best idea I had and it worked super well, you're going to have a bit of cloth that is entirely covered in wax straight out of the oven. The guide says you're going to need to brush it to cover the whole thing, but it's already done, so I guess use a grater and carefully wash it. The great thing about these wax food wraps is they're much more in character than regular like plastic wrap or sandwich bags or stuff. They're better at keeping your food covered and safe than just like regular calico would do if you were just going to use fabric. They will only keep food good for the day you pack it in and potentially the next day. So if you've got perishable food, you're going to want to put that in like a glass container or like a cool box or something. But this is perfect for snacks on the go, stuff you want in the day. And yeah, so I'm going to leave this to dry now, probably overnight, and I will show you it and peel it off then. Catch you in a bit. So there you have it, a nice easy DIY 100% cotton beeswax wrap for your food. Perfect for any adventurer on the go, perfect for anyone having a picnic or just going out for the day. Saves on plastic, saves the planet, saves the real world as well as our fantasy worlds. I'm going to make a couple more of these to go in the box. I'm going to experiment with the amount of wax we put on because I think this is too much. However, I have shown you the basic idea of what to do. Have a play, have some fun with it. You're going to want to make more than one of these anyway, so give it a go. Do one at a time. I wouldn't do, unless you've got 3 trays that you can put baking paper on, I'd have just one. I would do one at a time. That's the correct sentence.
I've never heard you say that ever before. And I'll never hear it again.
So, thank you very much for watching. This has been day 10. I have been Matt. This is the Explorer's Box. This is all going inside. It's all being given away. It's wonderful. See you again tomorrow. Bye.